This is our first, pre-race podcast, because we have the Bahrain Grand GP this weekend. So, we, like many other podcasts, wanted to do picks for the week. But normally, people pick their podium. And if that was the case, we were going to have to pick the same people every single week. Because Nicole and I are very competitive, not with each other, but just in general, we're competitive people. I'm really competitive. So I wouldn't be able to make
Let's
fun.
compete of who's the most competitive.
No, I just am fully admitting that I'm crazy. Monopoly is banned in my household. So, for that reason, we wanted to be able to throw some wild cards out and create good content that wasn't us just lying about who we actually thought was going to be on a podium. Yes, could I, be funny and be like, haha, I think a McLaren's going to be on a podium this week? Yes, but I'm too competitive to not just pick the Red Bulls and one other person. So, how we're going to do this is we're going to pick every week the winner, the P4, the person who just missed the podium. We're going to pick P7, theoretically the best of the rest. P10, the last person or driver to be in the points. And then we're going to pick the team who scored the most points in the weekend, who's currently 6th through 10th in the standings. So basically, back half, who scores the most points. The overperforming team of the week is basically what we're going to call them. But there's some stakes attached to this.
Of course. Because what's the point of competing if there were no stakes?
Well, we want to create good content around this. Right. And I think some of the fun of predictions is being able to hold each other accountable for when we make bad predictions. And not just moving on and pretending like we didn't do that. So, the loser of the week in the next Pigs segment is going to have to wear a headband that has a statement that will not be super flattering to that person for that week. You'll have to tune in for when we do our picks for the Saudi GP in 2 weeks to see which one of us has to wear and what we're wearing. And then we're going to do 2 seasons of picks this season. So we're going to do total points to summer break, and then we're going to restart.
Pre-silly season, post-silly season.
Basically. So the loser of the season will have to do our picks for the first race after summer break from a Peloton. So no nice, so we're sitting here comfy in our seats. You'll see one of us sweating on a Peloton, having
heavy breathing. Yeah.
Yes. Which will not be so nice for that specific person.
No, so, I'm not jazzed about that idea at all. But that's the point.
Yeah, neither of us want to lose.
Right.
All right. So I figured we'll start with Nicole. Who'd you pick as your winner going into this week?
No one could see this coming at all, but I have picked Max Verstappen as the winner of Bahrain this weekend.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so more excitingly, Nicole, who did you pick as your P4? Who do you think is going to be P4 this week?
I put Checo at P4 just to keep things kind of spicy and not impossible. We don't need to fill in who I think is P2 and P3 because that's not the point of this. So I'm putting Checo just missing the podium at P4.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. If Checo's anything below P2. I put Charles. It makes sense to me that Ferrari will just miss the podium.
Yeah, they're just there, right? Mm-hmm. Best of the rest. So for P7, I mean, this doesn't feel like a shock anywhere. I almost put him at P4 to make it spicy, but I put Fernando Alonso at P7.
Me too.
Yeah, I was like, this will be probably the same. I think it's the best piece of evidence that we have right now. And very likely. And again, we're in this to win, everyone. So right. Sometimes we have to.
Yeah. We're also working off limited data. So the best I can do. And of course, you can't predict DNFs. So I actually, I don't, yeah. I'd be shocked if we get this right. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, especially, if Max wants to pull a DNF, I wouldn't be upset about not losing those 2 points, but that's...
Yeah, like, darn.
No,
well, we also...
no.
Yeah.
Right.
My P10 last in the points is Alex Albon. I think
Oh,
we're
that's
Williams
a good
in the points.
one.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great, great vibe. Mine's Joe.
That's also a good... Okay, yeah. Yeah, we both went for a wild card.
Yeah, we went for like a little bit of hopeful, but not necessarily impossible and unheard of. And I think it would be exciting and fun. I would be happy if either of us got that one right because I want them to get points.
I do think there are 5 faster cars than either of our picks, but when picking P10, I was under the assumption that there'll at least be 1 or 2 DNFs from the top 5 teams, and I think we can sneak an Alex Albon in there. Williams doesn't.
You never know. Hey, last year was like, this was technically his best weekend, so.
So, because it's the first race of the season, we had to go off last year's final standings for who was P6 in the constructors through P10. I, to the shock of no one, said that I think Aston Martin is going to be the highest point scoring team based on last year's P6 through P10. Did you do the same?
I also said Aston Martin. It's the obvious pick right now. I mean, like, we're talking about teams 6 through 10. I think if we're picking teams just like outside of the like glory 3, like I very much want to scream about Alpine, but we're not talking about,
they were P4.
I know, they were too good. So yeah, my obvious choice right now is Aston Martin. Their car looks the most different. We've seen some interesting things. I'm excited to see them show up and get Lance in that car.
So, like we said at the beginning of the segment, we will be holding our picks accountable and keeping you up to date with the standings. So make sure you follow us at Gridwalk Show. We will be posting after the race on Sunday how we both did. And then we'll come back and do the segment again in 2 weeks for race 2. And maybe we'll see if one of us does well. We made this hard on ourselves.
We did, especially because we overlap in probably like some very particular areas. If we both tie, do we both wear a headband?
No, I think we both get a pass.
Okay.
Tying. Yeah. The key points differences for us is who's P4 and who's P10.
Right. Which is that's kind of mostly where I predicted we would differ. And that's also, I mean, P10 could have been anyone. And I'm going in acknowledging that picking Checo at P4 is wild, but I'm going with it. But I wanted to give a big thank you to VoiceOver Man and our 4-legged producers. Make sure you are turning on auto downloads and that you rate and review the pod after listening. You have no idea how much this helps us out. Lights Out is this weekend. So, hey, Apple Podcast listeners, help us out with our goal of getting 5 reviews by Bahrain, which is this weekend. So please let us know what you like, what you love, what you'd love to see us try out and maybe do. If you have a segment idea, we'd absolutely love to hear it. Follow us on every single social media platform. Maybe you prefer one over the other. Doesn't matter. We are at Gridwalk Show everywhere, offering you some daily grid walks. And we'll be back every Thursday, and we hope you join us. Today was like an entire grid race and not a grid walk.